Hello everyone, this is BJose32 and this is What's on Kickstarter, I guess you can call it. This is What's Up with Kickstarter in the world of playing cards. Let's check it out. First of all, some new decks that came up. The Black Book of Cards from Uncommon Beat, who originally did the Bicycle Urban Punk deck. This is a pretty interesting deck. It's completely black. The back design is basically solid black with just a little writing on the top and bottom, and then the faces are black, and they are made up like the court cards, and the faces are basically made up of words wrapped around where the pips are basically, and it's pretty interesting. It's made to be like a book sort of thing, typographic. I've never seen anything like it before, so definitely check it out. It is completely funded, more than double, and you can still get them for the next 20 or so days, so check it out. Also new on Kickstarter is When You Believe Playing Cards by System 6 Magic. They recently sponsored one of my contests, although I'm still waiting for prizes to be shipped out, or for the people to get them anyways. But anyways, these decks, the Believe playing cards, looks like it's pretty interesting. It's inspired by the Wayang shadow puppets of the island of Java in Indonesia. Pretty sweet looking deck. I recommend it. It's almost funded and there's almost a month left, so it's going to be funded for sure. The permaculture playing cards, which I've mentioned several times before, based on permaculture, whatever that is exactly. It's something related to people, plants, and animals, and techniques and ideas and stuff like that. 19 hours to go. If you haven't picked yours up, you might want to do so. It's definitely funded, but it's not your standard ordinary deck of cards, and it's not USBC, and it's not for everyone. But it is what it is. Also, the Evolution bicycle playing cards from Elite Playing Cards. 3 days left to go. It's definitely funded. It's definitely going to get made. So if you haven't picked yours up yet, what the heck are you waiting for? You're running out of time. Go get them. Another new deck that I sadly have to report on is the Mafia Wars playing cards. This is not related to the Mafia Wars game on Facebook, and could be, in my opinion, a copyright infringement issue. It is a completely horrible deck of playing cards, and I'm definitely not getting it. Apparently they're only $4, and they have a stretch goal for USPC cards instead of their smooth finished casino quality deck that they're apparently going with. So far they're 5% funded. Like I said, they're horrible looking cards. The back design is okay. It's black. It's got some details on it. It's got some guns in the middle in a circular thing. The court cards are not very good. They feature a lot of pink buildings in the background. One of the queens, the Queen of Clubs, has like off-sided boobs. It's kind of weird. And the other side, yeah, it's just, I don't know if that's her. Actually, I think it's her shoulder is bare, and then she got boobs down here. It just looks like her boobs are weird. And then the court cards, the ace of spades is like somebody on fire or something like that, or it looks like somebody holding a gun. It's just on fire. Ace of hearts looks like a diamond or something like that. So is the ace of diamonds, for that matter. And then the ace of clubs is kind of weird. They're all kind of weird. Everyone's kind of weird. Apparently the king of spades looks more like the suicide king. The ace of hearts does not. I don't know. Just not my style. Like I said, it could be a copyright infringement, and it's just very weird. And I don't see it getting funded. If it was associated with the game, that would be different, but it's not. So it's not going to get funded. Whoops, I'll back up. The Imperial playing cards by Randy Butterfield and House of Playing Cards. Those are funded, and you got 7 days left to pick them up. If you haven't done so, make sure you do. The Pharaoh playing cards by collectibleplayingcards.com have also been funded, and there's 10 days left. Another new deck that popped up is the Apollo playing cards by Benji Taylor. You might know him. He's done quite a bit on YouTube with his channel. He's done lots of tricks and contests, I believe, and stuff like that. The Apollo playing card is actually an extremely vintage deck of playing cards by the USPC from the 1890s. Most of you have probably never seen them or heard of them before because they're so old. Your grandparents might be familiar with them, but most people nowadays are probably not familiar with them or never heard of them. Nonetheless, it'd be pretty cool to collect and have in your collection. Their goal is very high, and it does not look like they're going to make it. However, he's pretty committed to it, and if it doesn't make it, he'll probably be relaunched with a new lower goal. And basically what it involves is having these cards, which USPC has one deck in their archives, having them digitalized so that they can be printed and cleaned up and everything. And apparently that's going to take like 40 hours of work. But of course, that's all for the USPC to do. But anyways, it looks like it's pretty interesting. I don't know if it's something that should be on Kickstarter personally, because it's just a vintage deck. I think that's something that the USPC should do themselves. But whatever. We'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to get funded, but whatever. Next deck on the list is the Creepy Playing Cards by XTU or X2 Productions, however you pronounce it. 3 days left, 71% funded. It's going to be very close. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. So far, this guy's had a couple other decks on Kickstarter. They were not successful. This one is the closest one, I think, out of all of them. The other ones were the Bicycle Emotions and I forget what else. To me, this is his best one so far, but it does not look like it's going to make it. I don't think this guy should be producing decks on Kickstarter because they're just not getting funded, unfortunately. Just me, personally. What else is going on Kickstarter? I mentioned one deck coming to Kickstarter soon from a Canadian guy. Probably the first one from Canada. I mentioned that in my last video. And it looks like it's a pretty interesting deck of cards. So we'll see what happens. The Bicycle Vivant and Bicycle Revenant from Warpunk Games. 3 days left, only 62% funded. Does not look like it's going to make it again, which is disappointing because it's a pretty awesome looking deck of cards, both of them. The All Joker's Transformation playing cards from Man-Made Games. 3 days left. It's almost 400% funded. That being said, it's not a USPC deck, and they have nowhere near enough funding for a USPC deck. And that being said, I should, warn you, because this company has made other decks on Kickstarter, and none of them have been made or fulfilled. Apparently, they might be shipping the first one out soon, but until it ships out, until somebody receives these decks of cards, I'd be hesitant to back anything by that company. That being said, they did have another deck, the Zombie Origin, that was on Kickstarter recently, and then they pulled it because people like Michael Ferrant of Being Pokeworld and myself were saying, you know what, you haven't shipped out any of your previous decks. Why you keep putting new decks on Kickstarter when you haven't fulfilled your previous ones? And warning people, you know what, this guy is just putting decks and decks and decks on Kickstarter, but he hasn't fulfilled any of his previous ones. Red flag, red flag, red flag. And he pulled the deck immediately. So that speaks volumes to me. And let's move on. The Persian Empire deck, which is now going to be a bicycle deck, apparently. 7 days to go, 82% funded. Again, it's going to be close. Did not make it originally when it was not a USPC deck. In fact, I think he canceled that one because of a lot of negativity surrounding the fact that it was not an original creation. It was just, copy and paste. But now he's doing better, but still don't know if it's going to get funded or not. Another one I mentioned to you before, the Awakened Villagers of Karen playing cards, which is based on some kind of role-playing game. 10 days to go, only about 30% funded. It's not going to make it. And it doesn't surprise me at all. Also, if you're looking for card clips, Loop Cuts has one on Kickstarter and right now, the Armatura, 45 hours to go. It's funded. If you want one, go check it out. It's pretty cool looking. In fact, I wish I had a deck with that back design on it. Except it'd be a one-way design, but whatever. And yeah, I'm just checking that other deck I just mentioned, the Cairn Villagers, Awakened Villagers of Cairn playing cards by Solzar. They haven't even revealed the back design or most of the cards. All the court cards are one-way designs of rodents, basically, animals like rats and stuff like that. And just I don't know, people aren't interested. The Caravan of Seers fortune telling playing cards, 12 days to go, only 22% funded, not gonna make it. I am happy to report the War of Kings playing cards were funded. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing USBC or not, but it looks pretty sweet and I look forward to getting that one. And a couple more that I wanted to mention. I think. Just bear with me 1 second. Alright, yes. One of them I want to mention is the Day of the Dead poker deck, Dia de los Muertos, which is, a big Mexican holiday. Apparently there is, I don't know a whole lot about the design. It's not USPC, it's being printed by a relative of his who owns a printing company. I don't know what the stock or finish is going to be like. They haven't really said anything about that. I haven't posted any updates. The cards themselves appear to feature people with death-like makeup on. They look like skeletons and Halloween costumes and stuff like that. They look like, dead people, basically. That's what the faces of the cards look like, and then yeah, that's all the faces actually. Number cards, court cards, just art. It's an art type deck with people that look like ghosts on them, or look like skeletons on them. Not sure I'm a huge fan of it, but whatever. And then it looks like there's two different back designs. One is red with thinner borders, and the other one is more of a peachy color, and they feature all sorts of like symbols and designs in them, circular stuff. Black faces apparently, and apparently he's going to be sending me a couple for my review because I've been telling him, this is not going to be successful, and so far it's not looking like it. But they're only looking for $3,000, so they might make it. Who knows? This is one that is similar to the Bicycle Calaveras deck, and that one was extremely successful. And so I don't know if people are going to be interested in this one because it's pretty different but similar. Anyway, can't think of anything else right now going on Kickstarter. Oh, there's one more that I wanted to mention. The Z deck. Z deck, or Z deck. It's from a game. There's only 1,000 decks. Apparently it's lithographic. Print run, whatever that means. And, well, it was on United Cards, so I figured I'd mention it. Basically, there's a whole bunch of different suits. And there's about 5 cards per suit. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then an X card. So you don't get your standard court cards. You don't get all the number cards, and then there's basically like 8 different suits. The back design's kind of interesting. faces are kind of interesting, like the pips and everything that they used. And it's pretty multicolored, but you know, it's not your standard deck. I'm not interested in it myself. But you might want to check it out anyways. That's the Z deck or Z deck, whatever you want to call it. And that's what I've got. I apologize, this is a little bit long. There's not too much going on. Some decks are funded, some distorted, blah blah. But that's my Kickstarter update for this week, and I'll see you next time.